The upcoming partial solar eclipse on March 29, 2025 will occur at 9 degrees Aries, which is ruled by Mars. It will bring in protests across Europe and the US. It will bring in military tensions at the borders, people going to stand up. We're going to have increased patriotism and also unity. All right, the solar eclipse actually occurs when the moon faces directly between the earth and the sun, temporarily blocking the sun's light. In astrology, this is a new moon on steroids, supercharged, karmic, and pivotal. It is always going to start new beginnings, permanent changes. It's a shift, sudden shake-up, and also karmic turning points. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Krisztina. As I mentioned over here, we're going to talk about today the partial solar eclipse, March 29th, 2025 in 9 degrees Aries. It is the last Aries eclipse until another 18 to 19 years. The eclipse is connected to the south and the north node, which is actually a mathematical point of the moon. And it's always going in retrograde motion, and it's always in axis to each others, which is opposition to each others. All right. North node is Jupiterian, south node is Saturnian in flavors. It is always going to bring in change, and the solar eclipse is a new beginning. It is a new moon in steroid, all right? So, for example, but you have to know about the eclipse over here. You have to know in mundane astrology, it is representing the governments and the leaders, the king, right? Anything to do with scandals, for example, the eclipses. And the eclipse will be shown in Greenland, in Europe, actually, and part of US, actually up in Hampshire. New Hampshire. Oh my God, I can't. New England. All right, I'm gonna say New England up in the US, and actually the east coast of Canada as well. But Greenland, it's totally will be seen. So I do believe Greenland going to go through a major change, and Europe going to go a major change as well. But it also shows anything to do with markets and economy as well. Usually solar eclipse is a new beginning. However, this eclipse is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in fall, the fallen soldier in Cancer, right? So we have to always check the ruler of the eclipse. How is it going to turn out, and what is it going to bring in? So because of Mars, rules also Scorpio, which is the stock market, right? It could bring in some kind of crashes and stock crashes, and anything to do with trade agreements. The tariff is going to actually decrease the value of multiple stocks as well. All right. And then personally, in your natal chart, this transit and this eclipse could bring in some kind of fated event, fated changes in the area of your life, which is the house it will actually occur. And if you don't know your birthday details, like what time did you born, actually then you don't know which house it's going to take places, but then you still can check what kind of aspect transit Mars in fall in Cancer makes to your natal chart, and what kind of aspect does it make the eclipse itself in Aries, 9 degrees to your natal planets as well, right? Okay, We are usually counting 5 degrees backward and forward to make it a good aspect. So if you do have anything in, for example, Cancer, which could be a square for you with this eclipse, or an opposition in Libra 9 degrees or 5 degrees back and forth, you are really affected. All right, but if you also have anything in Sagittarius or Leo around 5 degrees to 15 degrees, you are affected, but on a good way, on a positive way, for example. All right. So, for example, if we compare the solar eclipse to the lunar eclipse is full moon, its endings, its feminine energy, right? Because it's the moon, affects emotion, the public, and the motherhood itself. And it's more internal, more emotional. But the solar eclipse is a new moon on steroid. It's beginning, it's a masculine energy, anything to do with leaders, with father figures, with your visibility, with your career. And it's more external, it's more worthy, right? We also have to talk about the mythological content as well, because of, we have to check Aries over here and Mars and the first house as well, because that's the only way we are capable to come up with, for example, examples, the way it can fold out for us in mundane perspective and also in personal life as well. And as you know me, I always talk about the Sabian symbols, and if I find any fixed stars, I'm going to talk about that as well. And I also talk about each individual sign. And usually with the lunation, I do a very short, what is that, meditation as well. So stay with me, guys. All right, so, Aries symbolized by the ram embodies transit of traits of courage and, assertiveness, boldness. Aries is initiating, it's the pioneer. It is connected to Mars, and Mars is the Roman god of war, known for his fierce energy, right? In mythology, Mars represents not just conflict, but also the drive to protect and conquer, reflecting both, actually, like not just the destructive energy of anger, but also the constructive energy of courage and bravery as well. And as I said, right now, we always have to check the ruler. And at this moment, by transit, Mars is in Cancer, so it's in fall. It is very, very frustrated, okay? It's weakened, it's challenged in expression. But I would say, when a malefic planet is in fall or detriment, they are more evil. And that's what I said in my videos. We will see during Mars in Cancer, we will see a lot of fire. And we also going to see, even social unrest as well, because Mars is the warrior, especially in Cancer, because it's very, very patriotic guys over there. So it is like standing up for our rights as humanity. And because of the moon itself rules the public, the people, the general people, we are going to go against most likely. Because it's a new moon in steroid, most likely against the leadership, because of the sun is eclipsed out, right? So the sun, a leader is eclipsed out, a king is eclipsed out. So it will be change in leadership through some kind of social unrest. And if you are looking around, guys, then even the last eclipse, the lunar eclipse, what we had before in Virgo, it made a trine with Uranus, but I told you guys, because it's a lunar eclipse, it's going to have a negative effect, and Uranus is social unrest around the world. And look in Turkey, look in Belgrade, even in Hungary, Germany, all over the world, everybody is actually getting up, standing up. There will be a lot of protest for human rights, the genocide in Gaza, more people are awakened right now. All right, so Mars is very, very frustrated. Mars is the wounded soldier, the frustrated warrior, right? Mars is also the people's protector in Cancer, but the rage over here has no outlet at all. So we really, really need to be careful with our passive aggressive behaviors, because it could actually affect us and directly affect us. And actually, I just had a very bad experience on social media. Somebody just actually attacked me, but very, very badly. So this is a psychologist woman, and she is a Russian descent, married with an Israeli man, and she called me anti-Semite. And when I said, you know what, actually you cannot call me that, my grandfather line is Jewish, even if we are not practicing, and I'm a Buddhist as well, right? And I was like, but coming from a Christian family, I was like, you have no right to say that just because I have compassion for all human being. I'm a Buddhist. I feel for any kind of being, right? And then, after that, then she started to call me like I'm an evil bitch and I'm an imbecile fat pig. And, it became very personal. And she hopes I get raped by Hamas. So it was actually very, very evil. And obviously, I had to block her from my own personal social media. But as I'm saying, Mars in Cancer making people evil and mentally ill, perhaps also, and absolutely like targeting others without even any kind of reason. But if you're going to experience things like that, sometimes it's, you want to actually engage in this kind of and feed into this anger, but actually it's better to let it go because of sometimes you cannot talk to butterfly language to a caterpillar, you have to always ask, is this person capable to see what I see or understand what I see or have knowledge the same way I have? So you always ask yourself. I just wanted to tell you the story because it was very, very intense during the weekend. All right. But that is the frustrated people over here. All right, so for example, the fallen soldier archetype, Mars is in Cancer. It is very defensive and also offensive, as well, and reacts emotionally, no strategy at all. And it is almost like a frightened, cornered animal, like a cat in the corner, and it start to, scratch because of cannot go anywhere else and has to attack right away. Um, you know, it is because of the Mars could be really, really negative planet as well. It's not only courage and bravery, but anger as well, and evil. Mars in traditional astrology is very evil. And in Scorpio, it's very poisonous, right, as well. So that's why when it's frustrated, it's going to bring in more of the aggression and more of the revenge and anger. So we will need to be careful during this eclipse with that to get some structure in our life because otherwise, it could become very, very difficult. And what I also wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about actually Algenib, that is a fixed star and it's going to conjunct the eclipse in 9 degrees, going to conjunct with this fixed star. And it could start some kind of civil unrest and some kind of explosive resistance and something with desperate protection or on homeland, right? Because we will need to protect it because something is happening and we have to stand up. Protects one's home and children. That's what it could bring in as well. So as I said, it's going to bring in protests across Europe and even in the US. We will see mass protest in the US as well. And anything about housing and food prices or liberation, freedom of speech, for example, practicing the First Amendment in the US, for example. Also, it could be some kind of police crackdowns, fire on the streets, tear gas, barricades all over in the world, obviously. and military tension at the borders as well, anything to do with Israel and Iran and Syria, Yemen, and the US involvement in Syria and Yemen, Russia and Ukraine, it's going to flare up, because of we need justification, and justification could come from, unfortunately, some kind of suppressed aggression. So it could be that kind of passive aggressive turnout, and it's going to become real conflict for us. Anything to do with explosion and fires, because this is a misplaced anger and a misplaced, evilness of Mars in Cancer. So, for example, we can actually see some kind of factories get on fire or rocket-related accident, anything to do with naval explosion as well. But, maybe it will be above water, some kind of body of water. So, because Cancer rules water anyway, so it could be some kind of explosion, but maybe it's in lakes, or it's in like in the ocean, something like that. All right, and as I'm doing this recording, actually, we wanted to go to the keys, and we couldn't because of the keys also on fire. So you could see when Mars went in Cancer last year, 2024, then we did have, and it was in October, and we did have already a lot of fire in January. We had the terrible, terrible fire in LA. They couldn't stop it for a long time. It could bring in droughts, right, as well. So obviously, fire could be an issue during this time. But all right. What else we have to, yes, let's talk about a little bit more about Algenib, which is in 9 degrees in Aries, right? So, because it could give us another layer of interpretation. And this fixed star is associated with ambition and sharp mind and strong willpower, but it could also bring in misfortune and dishonor if it's misused. Uh, if there is greediness, there is power abuse, then it's going to actually become very, very evil. Because also has a temperament like violent outburst and quick temper and arrogance, as I said. So because of it is, the eclipse is conjuncting with it, and the eclipse is a new moon, but eclipsing out the sun, it is anything to do with false promises and disgrace, fall of a leader and public shame of a leader, for example, a downfall after rise of someone, because of the ambition is unchecked and it's not wise anymore. It's arrogant, and the person can fall from rise. Anything to do with fame. So we're going to see a lot of people who were actually famous, but somehow going to bring in famousnness and bad reputation, bad press. For example, some scandals, for example, for like celebrities as well. And it could also be some kind of accident and martial and military violence as well. For example, they go into what I was reading today. Trump wants the military and wants more police and military on the streets and by the borders. It could be military and martial violence, for example, across the border or around the border as well. You will see more of the, for example, if you read the news, right? And if you check the news, and you see the Gaza and the Palestine and the Israeli conflict, there is right now the UN and the NATO actually stated Israel is convicted with genocide. And there is a lot of tapes out there who the Israeli military torturing people, and they are actually creating war crimes as well. So you're going to see a lot of young soldiers who has no wisdom, and they are brainwashed all over the world. It's not necessarily centered in Middle East, but I'm just talking about that there is a lot of tape outside. Then they are using their misusing their power for violence, and they are falling from grace, right? um, and the other implication we also have to talk about, the mundane astrology over here. And as I said, the Ukraine and Russia conflict, I always said the war going to be 3 years. It's already been 3 years. Mars already went retrograde the same day, February 24th, when actually Russia started the war in Ukraine 3 years before. So it's already been 3 years and 1 month today as I'm recording. However, I believe so. We need to wait until Mars is leaving Cancer, and then I think there is going to be some kind of agreement, ceasefire with Russia and Ukraine. However, as I told you guys before, I didn't see the Gaza and the Middle East conflict to stop. I just didn't see that. Even when the ceasefire was, I told you guys it's not going to be long-lived, unfortunately. All right. And there could be also some kind of issue with stock market, obviously, because of the U.S. political climate with Trump putting 200% tariff on wines and champagnes in Europe. I mean, this is crazy, right? No matter what. And also anything to do with our neighboring countries, which is Canada and Mexico, and put that tariff. Who is going to suffer, guys? Not the rich. It's never the rich. It's always the middle class is the one who carries more all the burden, and who are actually pressed and crushed under like those kind of uh, political, sentiments, for example, or policies. So unfortunately, we will see people losing their jobs, and obviously because of Mars is in Cancer right now, and the eclipse ruled by Mars, it could also bring in some kind of crash with real estate in the real estate market as well. All right. And the eclipses never unfold on the same day. You have to know that, guys. It is at least 2 weeks for the next lunation, or 6 months later. So I'm waiting right now, and within 6 months, I believe, so there will be a major downfall of the real estate market. Obviously, the stock market also crashing, and it's not only because if you know, I know Trump chart from my heart, right? Because I analyzed him many times, and he has Uranus actually in Gemini very early degrees, and Uranus is out of bounds, so he's totally unhinged. And when he's talking, he's saying sometimes crazy shit, and even it's going to broil your blood, or so there is four different kind of people. If we are talking about Trump, one who is like, all right, I love him. One is, I hate him. That is the two. And the third one is actually I hate him, but secretly love him, or love some policies he makes. And the ones who are, oh, I love him, but secretly he's like, okay, just I have to say I love him, but actually I hate everything about him secretly. So there is the four kind of people. And definitely there is like, because I got, like Maria told me in a comment below in my previous video, like there is always people are always going to be interested in Trump. Doesn't matter if they hate him or love him, because that's what it is right now, and they want to know what's going to happen, or they try to predict, either waiting patiently him to resign or get away, or waiting him to rise even more, and seeing what kind of new policies he will actually implement. So that's obvious over here. But definitely because of right now the tariff, the trade relations with other countries, the stock market is going to be crashing, and it is already below 30%. But I do believe there is intentional crash over here. And why do I believe that? And like do your own research. But I believe because whoever is in power right now and their friends and, in the Senate or whatever, they're capable to buy $500,000 and $1 billion of stocks when it's low. And then it's going to come back end of the year, or even the crypto gonna come back most likely after Uranus goes to Gemini. So by the summertime, after July, I see a change over there in stock market and in cryptocurrency. So when it comes back, they can become actually more powerful. They can make billions of dollars. And what is money? Money is power. So this is obvious over here. So, do your research and invest carefully, but, this is not going to be the end. It's stock always going to come back at one point. We might have to wait a little bit longer, but at this moment when I'm checking and I'm doing my next 6 months of 45 stocks right now and 45 companies. And, I do see there could be a change in Tesla. I already wrote about that 3 months before. And when I checked it right now, I was like, holy moly, I said that in March it's going to be a crazy decrease in Tesla. And it could be some kind of issue to change actually the CEO of Tesla. So, the board wants actually Elon Musk to move away from the board. Obviously, the money is still going to be his and everything, but they want him to resign, something like that, what I was reading yesterday. We will see, right? Because he also, Cancer, stellium, and, Mars is over there. There is a lot of frustration and anger. We will see what's going to happen. All right. Okay, but because of Aries is anything to do with action, fire, boldness, and new beginnings, there will be a lot of change, and the change is going to be, some kind of nation going to renew or have some kind of reform to the national identity, right? They can adopt bold reforms and boost their morals as well as a nation. For example, let's see, like the nation like France may reassess in national identity and through social reform after months of protest, right? And regenerating some kind of civil pride as well. And it could be also something to do with Turkey, because Turkey is also has a lot of issues with leadership and also with jobs. They need to do some kind of job reforms as well. And they might going to have a new administration. They might going to have a new government as well. And I do see a lot of increase in patriotism and unity as well. And you can see the example through Canada, guys. Since Trump said that crazy things again, like why is Canada not the 51st state of the US? Which is like, come on. Canada is actually a huge country. They're doing pretty well, right? Okay. Either even if Trudeau was not the best, politician and prime minister, but anyway, all right. So, because of that, I feel like the unity in Canadian people. I have a lot of Canadians, and they are selling their house in the U.S. in Florida. A lot of my client has. Houses in Florida. And obviously, right now, a lot of people moving out from Florida. Why? Because we had a lot of hurricanes, and North Node also being in Pisces, and it's going to bring in flood, offshores. Villages and like close to the beach villages, for example, and cities. So obviously there is some kind of insurance issues going on in the US as well. So this is just like very crappy right now. And people are moving out. And Canadian is really, really patriotic right now. And they are like, you know what, we're gonna go to Mexico. We are not coming to the US. So tourism is going to be actually, like really decreased in the US. Plus, Trump put 43 countries on the blacklist for traveling as well. So I was like, all right, this is also going to decrease tourism. We will see if we are okay without tourism or not. We will see. All right, but it could be also some kind of aggressive innovation as well, because listen to me, China and Russia together really want to become the global leadership. Obvious, it is obvious. And, Russia might not, but China, behind the scenes, slowly building up everything. We are ruining everything over here in America, and China is slowly behind the scene is trying to build. And actually doubling down on AI innovation as well, and because of they are connected, the BRICS nation, right? South Africa, Iran, and what is that? Russia together and Brazil. They have a lot of mining and resources and minerals, so they are well. And China has an amazing traditions, long, long, thousands years of history and tradition. So they are very if you are, for example, going to see an American teenager and a Chinese, what they want to achieve in life. American teenagers, many times going to say they want to be influencers, and they want to do the bare minimum. And Chinese is always going after tradition. Even Russian. I was watching right now. It was not a documentary, but it was a YouTube video, like 45 minutes, and they were interviewing teenagers around the world. And pretty much, I was very sad what the American teenagers said, and even the knowledge and the intellect and how they answered questions, and that was very disappointing. So that's what I'm saying. China might going to do very well. But we could have a lot of protest, and crime rate could actually go up as well, because when we have a protest, even if the protest is peaceful, there is going to be always someone who going to hijack the protest. For example, if you go back to the Black Lives Matters protest all over in the US, right? It was like hijacked because there was a lot of crime. There was like, when you are destroying properties of other, or even properties of the government, doesn't matter, but then the protest is hijacked because it is violation and anger and aggression. A protest, I'm truly, I believe actually in protest, but I only believe in peaceful protest, right? So, for example, protest for me is like, okay, let's not buy anything for a week. Buy everything before, make sure you are ready for the week with your food. Don't go out, don't spend money. And you can show the government, like we are, the people actually are in charge. If we are not spending money, everything going to stop. We don't use anything. We don't use, caps or nothing at all. And that is a peaceful protest over here. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in, like ever to control other people's or kill another person. How dare you? I told you guys, I have compassion for every single human being and every being actually on earth. So that is very, very hard for me to see a war or injustice. I am like, my blood is boiling, and I'm very angry and upset. Yeah, but we also going to see rebuilt identity, national identity in some cases, right? And who could be that? It is the war-affected areas, right? For example, Ukraine, right? Because they're going to go to the narrative toward to peace right now, and then they can rebuild right now. become stronger together. And right now, if you saw the UN and the NATO, there is a lot of video up right now, and as I said, they actually declared Israel is doing a genocide and they are war criminals and whatever going on. And France and UK declared Palestine as a state, as a country, and they are standing up for Palestinians right now. So even Palestine could create a new identity, I believe so, with dignity perhaps, not just yet, because whatever's still happening, this is just terrible. Uh, Also, there could be, because of Mars is very useful energy, guys, especially in Aries, right? It is, someone who wants to have bold action and create some kind of change. And that is the use. So, for example, it could be a reawakening in youth lead, like groups as well. And we can also have some kind of good positive change in crisis response because of obviously Mars is response. It is the first responders. It is the police, the firefighters, and we can have actually a beautiful and strong, rapid response to a disaster, right? All right, anything to do with, even in humanitarian crisis, whatever is happening in the Middle East, we can have a better response to it as well. Um, and, you know, um, Mexico actually going to step in, and it's going to be the mediator between the South American nations and also North America. Obviously, Canada support Mexico right now, but definitely, Mexico image going to change, and they're going to respect Mexico. Mexico also could become very, very powerful right now, guys. And there will be a lot of public heroism and sacrifice as well, martyrness as well, especially in Palestinian civilians. So I feel that, but even Israeli, because I saw, I was watching the YouTube again, and especially after I got slammed by this woman, there is, and I have a lot of amazing, amazing Israeli friends who are not Zionist, obviously, and they are standing up and they want the hostages home, and obviously they want Netanyahu to be away because they understand who he is. And they got also smacked and trashed on the street when they are protesting. So you can see that on all over on YouTube if you would like to, or if you're into politics and the Middle East like I am. I became very political somehow. I don't know why, because before, when I was younger with my Pisces sun, I never was interested in politics, but somehow I'm like really fierce and a fighter right now. The negative scenarios over here, like the riots and it's Germany, France, Russia, and Israel, and everywhere around the world, and it could be controlled by military, for example, because military could come in and try to actually, um, you know. How do you call that? Break down the riots and the social unrest, but unfortunately, it could become like a fight between civilians and their police or their military in the country. So that could be, a little bit of issue. And as I said, the tariff, because of, going to bring in some kind of inflation, and it's going to bring in some issues, especially in the US. And we're going to have more confront with other countries we are losing in the US or alliances, unfortunately. It is also, this eclipse, because Mars is in 4, could bring in a lot of division between people, and left, right, Democrat, Republican, black, white, religious, non-religious, like whatever they want to divide us. So that's why it's very, very split ideologies, We have to unite together. Guys, you have to understand there is what the government wants and how they try to separate us, and how we can get together strong, because that is the ultimate purpose over here, to get strong together and not let them to lead us the way they want, obviously. And the USA also risking NATO stability as well, right? Um, and we will see what's going to happen with the NATO, but it's not yet, because I checked the chart. The EU, the European Union, could break, because some countries could actually dissolve or get away or get out from the European Union, but NATO not just yet. All right, so that's, and also because of Cancer is very emotional, Mars is over there during this solar eclipse, it could bring in some kind of mass fear and also some kind of misinformation as well, and paranoia as well. Uh, Okay, so that's, and they're going to militarize the public spaces, for example, and they're going to say, oh, that is for public safety, but actually it is some kind of border checkpoint or checkpoint in the country. And it's not just in US, it could be anywhere around the world. As well. All right, so then I'm going to actually go one by one for each individual signs. And by the end, we're also going to do a meditation as well. And of course, I'm going to start with Aries, and not just because of Mars rules you guys, but usually I start with Aries and I end with Pisces. So, it could be something because it's going to happen in your first house. And first house, anything to do with your appearance, that is actually your public image. That's how you represent yourself and your company, right? So over here, you're going to have some kind of sudden decision to change your style or appearance, for example. You want to become someone who you wanted to be for a long time, and you say no or never. So you're going to go from long hair to short hair, or like you're going to have some kind of you can actually have some new business as well. And if you are a corporate woman, maybe you're going to dress like a boho chic, like, and not in corporate suits. And you're going to have also, you can start some kind of business or crowdfund your own dreams, your own ideas right now. Definitely, you can take a bold step toward personal independence, like, all right, I want to break up, or, I'm going to give my resignation, or, I want to relocate as well. I want to live my life, not someone else, you say. All right. So, for example, someone in a toxic, codependent relationship finally says enough and moves out, and that's it. Because Mars is raw courage over here, or conflict or resolution regarding self-worth. Maybe you were bullied, and right now, because Aries rules you, and you're going to say me first. If you were actually overgiving, right, or taking advantage of, right now you're going to say, it's enough. I'm not going to do that anymore. I can't keep, protecting you. And you're going to have some kind of breakdown or maybe emotional confrontation, but you're going to declare your self-worth, and that is very, very long, very, very good. For example, a long-time employee confronts their boss about being underpaid and undercredited, and you are going to say, I was offered a better position and I decided to leave, and I might want to even start my own company. Or you can start some kind of therapy or physical healing as well, because first was also physical as well. So you can actually start something with body and mind reset. You reclaim your strength. Maybe you are actually start to get well from an illness. So you can start some kind of trauma therapy, or maybe you had panic attacks for years, and right now it is a turning point. As I said, anything to do with solo business, personal brand, you can launch it right now. You are unapologetic, and everything is like, okay, Mars is entrepreneurship. The first house is self, right? So it's a personal branding, which is going to show your bold energy. You can, like start a martial arts studio or write a memoir or a skincare product, whatever it is, but it could be really great. It could also bring in some kind of physical accident or burnout. As I said, Mars in Cancer, it is very, very angry. It lashes out, it's stressful, it's misdirected rage. As I said, don't start fight with anyone because it can turn against you. It could also bring in some kind of adrenal burnout, anything to do with head injuries, right, as well, because of Aries rules the head, right? And also you are and you can take on to an unexpected leadership, right? Because obviously the eclipse is unexpected. So for example, your manager quits and there is a major project in your team and you are taking on to, and they are seeing your strength, and they are going to offer you that kind of new promotion there. But you definitely have to let go of outdated self-image, right? The way you are. It's almost like a phoenix effect. It's almost like a rebirth for you, a personal rebirth. So you cannot be sacrificing yourself all the time for your children. You don't only have to be a mom, but you have to reclaim actually your own voice as your own identity to get healed. All right. Taurus rising sun and moon, the eclipse is going to be in your 12th house. 12th house is solitude, ending, spiritual area, subconscious, anything to do with internal transformation. And, it is because Mars is transiting Cancer right now, and it's in 4 right now. Uh, it could bring in some kind of spiritual awakening for you, anything to do with intense dreams. It could be war dreams or sex dreams for you, you know, um, something to do with vivid dreams, it could also disturb your sleep pattern. Maybe you are wake up often during the night. You get some kind of prophetic downloads, right, in symbolism, but it's going to guide you for sure. You can also end a long-held secret or habit during this time. So, for example, if you did some kind of self-sabotaging habit behavior, 12 was anything to do with drug, alcohol, addiction, then right now you are capable to heal that. You let go of that, right? And if you had some kind of financial struggle, you can confess to someone about that, and it's going to help you maybe to actually balance out your finances as well. So what else could be here? All right, so you're going to need time alone. And if you are actually go to a retreat or you going to do a silence retreat, for example, get quiet somewhere, you can come through with really, really great ideas, if you were a burnout healer and you go offline for a few days, right? 5 days, 6 days, it could actually help you to recreate your work the way you really want to heal. Or, maybe it is going to say, okay, I don't want one-on-one relationship with clients anymore. I want to write. I want to actually, like reach the public, but more people at once. Also, it could be some kind of mystical experience for you guys. 12 house, obviously, anything to do with magic, or, it could trigger some kind of psychic awakenings, as I said. It could be also like, all right, I want to do a session with Reiki, a session, or I'm gonna start to study Feng Shui, or I want to do some kind of plant medicine ceremony, and you are going to reclaim your spiritual gift. Also, if there was some kind of hidden talent, you are capable to uncover or discover it, right? Um, but it has to be based on some kind of spirituality or maybe through art because 12 has also music and art as well. So you might going to discover, oh, you know what, I can write music. And actually that is really funny because of my cousin just reached out after a long time and we really were connected. He lives in England and he said, you know what, I'm using AI right now to write music. And he was a writer, he's a poet actually, but he was like, right now I also create my own music with AI and I'm writing the poems and I'm gonna sing because he doesn't know how to create music, but he started to sing as well. So you can maybe do the same things, or you realize, you can actually write, or maybe you're going to download psychic informations and then you write that. A whole entire book could be dictated from somewhere from the Akashic record. If you have any kind of health issues with mental illness or addiction or anything to do with hidden inflammation, because Mars rules inflammation actually, and because of the 12th house is hidden, there could be some kind of discovery or some kind of signal right now, and you should not ignore that because of you really need to take a rest and not force yourself. um, you might going to feel extreme fatigue or anxiety, and then you just need to take a step back from your job. The other hand is also you are capable to discover your karmic pattern and also your past. So maybe you're going to have very, very weird dreams, but you will feel like, all right, I feel like I lived that dream before. So maybe you're going to have dream from your past, from your previous life. It's a karmic loop, and you're going to realize, for example, all right, what's happening, why I am always sacrificed in love, or on maybe in financial matters, why is it not working out for me? And you're going to get the solution from your dream as well. It could be also uh, you know something to do with hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So you might going to go and take on to hypnotherapy, and it will help with some kind of karmic pattern. You can also drawn to art and spiritual work. As I said, you are maybe going to go and help to people who are in hospice to become a death doula, to become a nurse. It could bring in a new career in astrology, Reiki, Feng Shui, anything to do with music as well. All right, guys. Let's see what else. Let's see and go to Gemini rising sun and moon. It's going to take on to your 11th house, which is long-term vision, communities, friendship, right? Collective goal, social influence. That is your tribe, guys. All right. And it's going to bring in possibilities over here. So a new community or tribe could enter your life. You might going to have a new friend. You might going to pay into a new, VIP community, for example, where is the annual fee is $200,000 and you want to be part of that, for example. You know, uh, Definitely could be some kind of unexpected sisterhood, mentorship or support. And 11th house also money from your career, so you might going to get bonus or actually recognition or some kind of promotion as well. You also are capable to launch a project, but it has to be collaborating with others, right? Or it could be something to do with non-profit, or it could be something to do with philanthropic work as well. So you are capable to do some kind of wellness retreat brand, right? Anything to do also with digital platform and digital learning to connect communities, because 11th house is about that. Or, it could be because you are so annoyed with that group, you just suddenly gonna exit and you're going to say, you know what, I'm done over here. They are not supporting my growth. It is really dated. They stayed on the level and I grow so much. I did a lot of shadow work. And you're going to not necessarily ghosting the people, because Mars is not ghosting. Mars rather, do conflict and like fight. But it is just like these people undermined me and gossiping behind my back, and I just don't want anything to do with them. It could be also some kind of unexpected public support or fame as well. Somebody really want you to succeed. They hear your vulnerable story, or they see a forgotten piece of art and it's been shared with them, and they are in a group where they are capable to actually give you some kind of recognition. It could also bring in some kind of social media boost as well, and but it could be either, could be very good fame or infame as well. So, but if you share your honest opinion, even about political issues, or you can get a huge wave of support, for example. But also careful because regardless, Mars is in Cancer, so it could be a backlash as well. Networking, because it will bring in new job opportunities for you guys. It will lead to unexpected work, for example, and it could become really, really powerful, right? You're going to meeting new friends and people, community, and it's going to be good for your business. It could be a major shift in your long-term goal, some new long-term goal going to come up, which is bring immediate success, perhaps, uh, you decide to step away from a high paying corporate job to build something more aligned with your values, anything to do with a creative studio, and it takes off right away. It could be also you are, because 11th house is humanitarian effort and social activism. So you might going to be called for your voice, to be advocate of others, to support some kind of justice, anything to do with climate actions, or collective healing, or you join a local Palestine solidarity group, or Ukrainian, or anything for the underprivileged as well. All right. Um, Anything really, which is humanitarian, I'm saying. It could be that, fallen soldiers anywhere on the world. All right, guys, then we're gonna go to, I forget what. Okay, it's Cancer rising, sun and moon. It's gonna happen in your 10th house of career, public reputation, life path, visibility, legacy, right? It is a turning point. You might going to change your name, because a 10th house actually could be like, okay, I'm going to get my doctorate, or, I'm gonna get married or divorced or widowed. So it is changing your public image actually during this time. But on the other hand, it could bring in a sudden career shift, a new role, a new position, and it could be unexpected. You can be promoted or fired, but by the end, it's going to lead to visibility, and it's going to lead to success, right? For example, unexpectedly asked to step in as a department head or lead a public project. And after, you doing that, your boss is going to step down and you're going to get that, role, for example. There could be also some kind of public recognition, but also criticism as well, guys. Mars is in fall. We cannot change the mind of other people, but definitely you're going to be seen by the public. So either it could be viral success, or something to do with publicity, which is challenging. You said something on social media and it's going to get a backlash, but most likely, it's going to be um, reposted. Maybe if you do something on social media and someone likes the way you talk or your book or whatever, and it's going to be reposted by a major figure, and it's going to give you grace and power and credentials, and you're going to have a lot of client. you're also going to feel like you are called to change your life path. You are called to change your career, right? Because it's not aligning with your values anymore and you want to start over. For example, a successful lawyer with Cancer rising can decide to go back to school and they say, okay, I don't want to work for this pushy firm anymore. I want to become someone who is helping trauma therapist for families, for example, and I would rather to be a psychologist, or maybe I just want to go off grid living and do herbalism and healing others, but I don't want to work for corporate anymore. It could also bring some kind of conflict with authority because 10th house is authority figures as well. Anything to do with disagreement with the mayor, with the boss, with government agencies, right? So yes, it could bring in a lawsuit as well. It could, and a lawsuit which could affect your public image. Also, parents' influence or health going to become central. Why? Because of Mars is in the sign of mother, which is a parent, right, in Cancer. 10th house is authority figure, so it could bring in some kind of issue with the mother figure or the most nurturing figure. It could be a father who was more nurturing for you. Becoming a public figure or leader, it's metaphorically, but it also could be like you are asked to be on stage. You could speak for others, teach and lead, and represent your company. You're going to be face of your company. You're going to run a project, or you get a major position on a board, for example. And as I said, also it could be something to do with launching new business, crowdfund some of your business as well, being a shareholder, for example, as well, um, in a business or in a new company. Yeah, and 10th house is legacy as well. So you might, if you are in an age and if you are older and you are like, you know what, I have to wrap it up over here and redefine my legacy. Did I do all my purpose in life, or what should I do to wrap it up over here? All right, Leo rising sun and moon is going to take place in your ninth house. Ninth house, anything to do with your beliefs, higher education, travel, publishing, law, spiritual worldview, passport, anything to do. And Mars in Cancer for you in the ninth house. Actually, the eclipse is in the ninth house. The Mars is in Cancer for you in the 12th house, which is your subconscious and hidden and ancestral and spiritual field. And it could bring in some kind of tension there with your dreams, with addiction, for example. But in the ninth house, it could bring in some kind of spontaneous trip. You can also move abroad, or you can actually go to teach abroad. You can have a foreign student exchange, right? Or you can actually take your family abroad. And you can also have some kind of legal matters as well, because ninth house ruled by Jupiter originally, and it could be law and order as well. But it is a fated event to move abroad, right? Or it could be like you going to a spiritual retreat in Peru, and then you are like, oh my God, I love this country, and I'm gonna relocate over here and start my healing business here. And it could bring in some kind of shift in religion and beliefs as well. You were Christian going to Judaism, or you're gonna go to Buddhism, anything like that, or became an atheist or anything. But your spiritual beliefs are shifting, and it is some kind of shake your worldview as well. You might going to lose your faith. And You can live an organized religion, and maybe you're just going to practice astrology and healing. Maybe because of your religion doesn't support. Maybe they think it's black magic to practice tarot and astrology, right? And that's why you say, all right, I have enough from here. I'm leaving. I'm moving forward. It could also bring a publishing breakthrough for you, Leo, rising sun and moon, with writing, with publishing, you write or launch a podcast, or your podcast and publishing, not podcast, but your YouTube channel could have a lot more subscribers, for example. Um, because maybe you are going viral because of you have some kind of videos, which is like your prediction came through and people are going to resonate with it, and then you are going viral one day to another. It could also bring in some kind of immigration matters as well, and legal issues with visa and immigration. You might going to need to go back and fight for yourself a little bit. There could be also a new teaching or certification path as well. Ninth house is always higher degrees, major academic pursuit over here. But, you can go to, for example, mm, do a doctorate or have a second university degree. You're suddenly going to be called to teach or, without any kind of fear or enroll to a new career program, for example, to university. If you are a teacher, it could be like you are challenged by an authority figure, by a boss, and it could be toxic relationship or some kind of toxic community behind gossiping because you get a role. Maybe you're going to become a director or, the head of the teachers board or whatever, and you are new and they don't like it. Also, it could be like some kind of anger about global injustice as well, and you might going to actually fight for education or women rights or speak out on your YouTube channel. You're really going to feel fired up and getting involved in humanitarian groups or writing articles about injustice. And start some kind of global conversation. And your vision, dreams, could be also very, very psychic. Your intuition, divine downloads could happen right now. Flashes of truth, Uh, you wake up from a dream knowing exactly what to do. That could happen with you guys. Virgo rising, sun and moon is going to happen in your eighth house. That is a major transformation for you, Virgos, with shared finances, inheritance, intimacy, psychological healings, taboos, anything to do with abortion, miscarriage, surgeries, death, anything to do with stock market or identity theft as well. So, Mars is in Cancer for you in the 11th house. So obviously, but the eclipse is in your 8th house. So, financial agreement ends or begins. It could be like something to do with business partnership, loan, anything to do with joint venture, prenup, right? Taxes or inheritance, even shared property, because Mars is in Cancer, it's going to come in focus. And also, it could be like finally, if you have some kind of identity theft, it could be like, oh, it's resolved. Or if you have some kind of issue with divorce, it could bring in a final settlement for you guys as well. All right. But it also could be like a relationship going to become very intense and really intimate. It could end as well, but it is very sexual and suddenly deepens, right? And it is something to do with, all right, I need to admit some kind of betrayal and confess to someone in love. And is it going to end my relationship or is it going to give us a new beginning? You have to work with your shadow work. You have to hire a psychologist, a sex therapist, for example. Inheritance and legal matter or tax issues could arise. You might have to work, fight for your inheritance, or you could have some kind of all right, I need to go to the tax audition because of I made some mistake with my TurboTaxes. Something to do with financial aid, or even if you are applying for some kind of welfare as well, it could be like, it didn't happen on the way I wanted. Maybe it was taken away from me. Uh, it could be also like you are quitting a toxic power dynamic relationship. It could be only sexual, maybe, and manipulation and control was in your relationship, and you are like, okay, you're not gonna drain me anymore. I have enough. So there could be also just cut off some kind of emotional vampires, right? And they are like, and you are like, okay, they're taking my energy. I can't do that anymore. Always complaining. Just leave me alone. But definitely with psychology and group therapy and consultation, it could come a very, very massive inner healing and somatic healing. You can use breath work, trauma release, anything to do with hypnotherapy as well. Shadow work is very important. You're going to have a lot of interest in mysticism and occult as well. Careful with groups like who are very rigid, for example, because it could bring you close to cult as well, and you can be trapped in cult. But there could be an aha moment in sexual healing, for example. And you might going to start something with tarot cards, or suddenly you're going to have nightmares, but the nightmares actually going to make sense, and you can release a lot of trauma from that. You can also rebirth after a breakdown. This is Phoenix, eighth house. You might have a lot of public pressure and you get triggered, your stress get triggered, right? Because of 11th house, Mars in Cancer, emotional breakdown, but you're going to come back stronger than ever. So, you collapse, you burn out, and then you are going to be like, all right, why I didn't do that sooner? I'm a totally new person. Um, and also, it could be like you are joining or leaving a powerful group as well, some kind of activism, something what is not necessarily aligning with your dreams and wishes, and you leave the community or cult and you're done with that. All right, Libra rising, sun and moon, the eclipse is going to happen in your seventh house. Seventh house is your YouTube followers, your partnership, relationship, marriage, enemies, contracts, and negotiation, open enemies, actually. So, it is the storm is over here. Who is beside you, right? Who is going and helping and supporting you? And Mars in Cancer is in your 10th house. So, 10th house is your public image and career, right? And is my relationship going to support my career or not? Because it could be like, all right, a relationship begins or ends dramatically because of they not supporting my career. They don't want me to succeed. They don't want me to become a career woman. They want me to stay home, maybe a husband or wife. So I have to end this relationship. It could be also you meet someone, right? Because it's a solar eclipse. And the moment you meet this person, you feel like it's fated. And that's it. You are like, okay, I'm going to leave my relationship for this person because I know it's karmic and was waiting for this for a long time. It could also, because of the seventh house's legal matters as well, contracts and signing contracts as well. So it could bring in, for example, a marriage agreement to get married, or some kind of legal settlement if you've been sued or suing someone. But also, whatever it's draining your soul, you can also say no to a contract, and you say, okay, I'm not collaborating with this person anymore. You're going to realize you outgrown certain people for sure. And it could be a friend, a business partner, even a romantic interest. And you are like, okay, our energy is not matching currently right now. So either we're going to burn the bridge, or um, lovingly actually depart, or it could be like, let's reawaken something between us because the way we are connected, it's not working anymore. You can also attract powerful ally as well, or collaborators with other people, and you can have a lot of followers or YouTube channel as well. You actually can co-create something with a mentor or with a business partner, and it's going to open up big doors for you in your career. Um, it could be also like your publicity could actually challenge your significant other life, or their life could actually challenge your publicity as well. Um, and you also going to realize you've been carrying the weight alone in a relationship, for example, and you're going to get triggered, and you want to balance the boundaries, and you want to also walk away from unequal dynamic as well. You just want to reclaim your time and stop chasing, or if somebody is not loyal, then you are just, okay, it's been proven, I'm just done over here. But there could be some kind of career demands, and it could put a strain on the relationship. As I mentioned it before, the partner can feel neglected, for example, and unsupported. And you are called to teach or mediate as well. So you can become a mediator in relationship, like a psychologist or a therapist between partners, not to divorce. You want justice. You want to advise other people. All right, Scorpio rising sun and moon is going to happen in your sixth house. Anything to do with health, daily routines, work, life, service, and habits. And, you know, um, it is something to do with who you actually taking care of your body, and what do you do in your free times also. Who do you actually relate from colleagues, from tenants, or because sixth house also tenants as well, and rental properties as well. And Mars is in full in Cancer, and it is not necessarily a chill vibe, like you're going to be very, very protective, for example, emotionally as well. And, maybe you overworked and you wanted to go for a vacation in a foreign country, and the workplace not going to support you. It could bring in sudden change in work routine or job as well, leave a toxic workplace, for example, or it could bring in new responsibilities, and your schedules are going to be really, really overwhelming. It could be like, all right, I'm going to get offered maybe a job in another city. Mars is in your ninth house and it's in Cancer. And you know what? I'm going to take it. Why not? Because this job where I am at, it's not doing anything. I cannot grow over here. It could also bring in health issues for you, and bring in lifestyle changes as well. Anything to do with digestion, inflammation, fatigue, because Mars is accident and inflammation, infection as well. And sixth house is digestion as well. So obviously it could be like, all right, I'm burnout. Right now it's time to detox, and not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. You're going to create a new health and fitness practice as well, like all right, so I need the reboot over here, and it's a total body mind reboot. I need to become disciplined and work out and do meditation and herbal remedies as well. Uh, you might going to sign up for Tai Chi, right? Because Mars is in force, so it could be slow movement, or you're going to maybe quit caffeine because you are very, very nervous after coffee. By the way, I need to drink another coffee soon. Or you realize you are doing too much for others. Maybe you have rental property and you are way too nice to your tenants, and they're taking advantage. Or at work, you are the one always who is bringing the donuts, or helping others. But right now you are like, okay, I'm done. I'm shifting. I'm gonna actually walk away because I need to take care of myself and nourish myself. It could be also some kind of hidden conflict broiling, at work. What is not erupting yet, but soon it will, some kind of tension at work, for example, and you will need to confront. and remove that toxin person from your life. It could be also like, for example, six houses, dogs, actually small animals. So you could have some kind of issue. Maybe you got bitten by a dog or scratched by a cat, careful, because it could create some kind of infection. You can also get obsessed with productivity because six has anything to do with, Virgonian energy in general, and it's overwhelming. It's very scheduled, overscheduled themselves and want to fix everything and perfect, do it all. And then it is a burnout. And then it is like, all right, I don't want to hustle anymore. I need to recover. And then also, you're going to be feeling too drawn to healing work and service-based centers. So you might want to open up maybe a veterinary care or nursing home or herbalism or anything to do with nutrition business, a gym, a yoga studio. It could be as well. But definitely you can let go of unhealthy habits, for example. And if you have poor boundaries with clients or with people around you, just like, okay, I'm done over here. I'm not living like this anymore, and you're really going to mean it. All right. My fellow Sagittarians, it's going to happen in our fifth house, which is everything to do with joy and everything to do with children creativity. It is also lottery winning. Why not? We might going to win the lottery, and there could be some kind of new good news coming in. With children as well. And you're going to reclaim and reset your playfulness. I want more than just survivor and want to feel alive again kind of situation. Um, and Mars is actually in your eighth house, and it's in Cancer, and it's in fourth. So there could be some kind of sudden romantic connection or ending as well. Fifth has anything to do with crushes and affairs. It could be flirtation. This eclipse could bring in some kind of, you feel like. Really and like you feel beautiful and magnetic and you want to flirt. um, it could be also like kind of creative renaissance and breakthrough if you're doing anything to do with writing, music, designing. It could be bringing something real. Write poetry, submit a poetry somewhere and you can win with it, or pitch your documentary and they're going to buy it. So it could be really, really good for you guys. And pregnancy children, it also could bring in a big decision around parenting and children as well. Maybe some kind of fertility. If you had fertility issues right now, a baby news coming in, and it could be unexpected, but really, really fated and welcomed as well. It could also bring in some kind of spiritual growth as well, but in art and music and creativity. You also might going to take big risk, right, in love or art, or it is like, because Mars is in combo over here, and the eclipse with Mars is like, okay, go big. But don't pick, because it is also investment as well and workshops as well and conventions. So it is like, don't put your eggs in all your eggs in one basket, right? Because then you can lose control. And fifth was also gambling as well. So I don't want you guys to gamble, but perhaps it could bring in actually some kind of winning. Especially Mars is in the eighth house, and it's not going to square anymore, but it's still, between those two signs, it's squaring. In Vedic astrology, it's enough oh my God, the signs to be square, but Mars is far away right now from 9 degrees. So yeah, definitely it could be some kind of breakup as well. You might have been in a triangle in relationship. You have a mistress or you had a lover, and you are like, what, I'm going back to my significant other. So it could be definitely falling in love with life again. Maybe you had some kind of grief or heartbreak, and you want to feel joy and play again, and maybe you're going to start to join a community theater and you're going to play or start horseback riding as well. Or, just dance in the kitchen, doesn't matter. It's going to actually reset what was blocked in you. You can also heal your inner child. It's very, very important. Childhood wounds, to be felt. It's need to be felt, and it was dismissed and unseen. And right now, you have the courage actually to 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 heal that kind of childhood wound, and realize, what, I couldn't actually express myself truly when I was a little girl or a little boy, and I wanted to perform and sing and draw. And right now you realize it and you claim it back. Definitely a new chapter of visibility. Maybe you've been playing it safe, but this eclipse can put you on the spotlight on your authenticity. You can, learn something, YouTube channel, TikTok, workshops, whatever it is, and you're going to be known by that. So, your passion is not frivolous, and actually, your art is not late, your joy is not luxury, your desire is divine. That's the most important for you guys to remember. Capricorn rising, sun, and moon is going to happen in your fourth house. Fourth house, anything to do, and it's going to rewrite the roots of your life, home and living situation, family and ancestors, emotional safety and inner security, real estate and property, private life and inner world. And Mars is in Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house anyway, but there could be some kind of emotional surges, whatever was buried and there was some kind of resentment, then it could come to surface right now. And you're going to have the desire to protect, okay, to protect your family, your nest, defend your nest. So it could bring in some kind of sudden move or relocation for you guys. It will be like, okay, your physical living environment going to change. You can have some kind of landlord issues, and you are just like, okay, I'm done over here and I move. I want to downsize maybe, or I was dreaming always. A new country, or a country living somehow, and okay, you're going to do the move. It could be also some kind of family secrets and some kind of ancestral healing coming through or coming up. You're going to uncover something about your family, something with hidden trauma, what was passed down, and you can go actually to therapy with your people together, right? So it could be also some kind of parental reconnection or conflict as well. So either it could be like, okay, I want to reconnect with my parents and on a deeper level, or there is some kind of intensity. They move in together with you and they annoy you all the time, some kind of unexpected way they have to move in with you. And but it could be a blessing and also a curse in some cases, but definitely could be a reconnection. And there could be also a leap in your career, but if it is career, then it has to be something to do with home base, because the fourth house rules home. So you're going to start to work from home. And Mars wants actually motion and launch a business, write a book, teach from your kitchen, for example, something from with your sacred place. And it could also bring in some kind of emotional burnout, right? Because of fourth house, it's something with the family, and you are pushing too hard, and your body says, all right, I took care of everyone. I need to put boundaries because of it's enough. I mean, I've been taking advantage, or I worked a lot and I have to go offline. I never being with my family kind of situation. If you want to buy or renovate or sell a property, go ahead. It is a good time for that. You can inherit a land, for example, and also it could be a divorce settlement, and the split up, and the home is going to become yours, something like that. All right, and it could be also like you are going to shed childhood beliefs, right? So, for example, um, you believed in something, you believed who you were before. But right now, with that kind of family history that's going to be uncovered, you are like, oh my God, it's going to get rewritten because whoever I thought I am, I'm not. And it could be like creating your chosen family. It could create an instant family if you didn't have, for example, you can find your biological parents if you were adopted, or if you didn't have family, you can connect with someone who has a family and you fall in love and you create your family. All right, Aquarius rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your third house, which is communication, daily mental processing, siblings, anything to do with short travel, younger siblings, all your relatives, contracts, vehicles, and learning. And it is a Mercury domain house over here, right? And Mars is in fall in Cancer and in your sixth house. So, and the eclipse is in your third house. So, there could be some kind of, for example, a sudden news or game-changing message, something to do with a contract, and it could be maybe involve a sibling or a neighbor. And or you're going to move a neighborhood. So it could be a legal paper, what you can receive right now, something to do with a new job, for example. And this is going to be very meaningful and really, really pivotal for you. Or it could be, ending a writing project, for example, a book. Third house governs writing, blogging, teaching, sharing information. Maybe you wrote a manuscript and you finished it and you're ready to show that for the public. It could be like, all right, you launch some kind of podcast or YouTube channel, right? And also it could be you, going to leave a mentorship, for example, because of you want to start a YouTube channel, um, or anything what was meant to be but was once feared before, it could come through right now for you. It could be also teaching, start to teach as well. Maybe you're going to create online school. Maybe you're going to buy a new transportation, a new car, because of, your car always break down. And, either it's going to force you to work all the time, or you are like, okay, I have enough, I'm buying a new car. Or maybe your computer died and you have to actually replace it with something which is a lot better right now. It could be some kind of conflict with neighbors and siblings as well. Why not? Mars is tension and Mars is frustrated in Cancer. So definitely it could be because maybe a dog, maybe a small pet, maybe because of your daily routine. You are playing the tuba at 6 o'clock in the morning as a daily routine, and your neighbor had enough from that, or maybe your dog barks in certain times all the time, and it's bothering other people. But it could be also some kind of mental overwhelm as well, and you have to reset right now. You feel like you have to reboot, you have to take mushrooms, for example, lion's manes and reishi to not troponik, because you feel like you're tired, you have ADHD, and like it's too much. It's a lot of phone call, emails, and social media, and it's a lot of to-do list, and it's going to fry your nervous system, overwork it. So you can start breath working and meditation because it's going to keep your sanity. Public speaking and teaching is also an opportunity for you, but it's more like elementary school and more like workshop setup as well. uh, your voice is powerful and it's heard. You are a new porter, for example, for other people. And you can also take bold actions, for example, in your immediate environment. So, if it is like you can become the HOA president, or you can become a community leader, you can go show up on school board meeting, and they're going to actually, you're going to be very vocal, and they want you to be the leader over there. But also you need to let go of limiting beliefs, anything to do with mental hygiene, for example, thoughts and podcasts, what you are watching and scrolling on, and it doesn't serve you anymore. Maybe you have to give up your Twitter account, or anything what you are watching and toxic right now. All right. Pisces rising, last but not least, it's going to happen in your second house. Pisces rising, sun and moon, second house, which is self-worth, value, survivor needs, material security, and your money, the money what you earn, anything to do with your safety, how worthy you are, second house. And Mars ruling this eclipse, and actually it's in fall in Cancer, and actually it's in your fifth house, it could bring in some kind of sudden financial opportunity or loss as well. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, because through gamble or through big investment, you can lose a lot of money. But also your self value is going to, and self worth is going to boost, get a boost as well, and you're going to love yourself. You might going to find out you have a hidden gift, and if you lose your job, you're going to gain a new offer within days. So don't worry about that. And it could be like family members are helping you out, right? Also, you can let go of undercharging or undervaluing yourself right now. So you can raise your prices right now, or fire clients, or demand a raise, right? If it's necessary, if you feel unworthy. That you can also start a new income stream, because it is second house, it's gift, if some hidden gift over there, or you're going to start writing, teaching something, and you're going to monetize a side skill. I can make money my way kind of moment coming up for you guys. Also, it could be, like confronting your financial fears as well. And, your scarcity mindset has to go right now. You know, anything to do with hoarding and over controlling has to let go. So if you were a hoarder or collected, stuff that it's like doesn't make any sense, just let them go. Give it to charities. It's time to clean up your closet right now. And bills, it's going to be easier to pay the bills, for example, because you're gonna do some kind of budget, and you're going to change your habits. Maybe you were overspending, or you cancel your Amazon Prime, and you are not going to order stupid stuff, and it's you ending that kind of habit there. But it's going to be a lot of shift in values and priorities as well. It's going to you're going to let go of no longer aligned with you, for sure, because the eclipse is burning that away, and you're going to have new values right now, which is peaceful, and it's create luxury, for example, and freedom, financial freedom in your life. You can have more income as well. And you're going to also invest in self-worth practices, anything to do with, uh, because Venus also going to get exalted after this in Pisces, and you are ruled by, you are Pisces, so exaltation over here, self-love and self-investment, maybe beauty products, maybe some kind of therapy, maybe something what is bringing you joy and what is really, really matter for you. And if you have some kind of conflict, because Mars is very conflicting and very angry during this eclipse, with money, with a family member, just argue your way out, and you finally speak up, and you finally, give yourself self-respect. So this is really, really good. And you can also receive gift inheritance, or even repayment. Maybe something is returning to you what was you invested in before, and somehow it's decreased the value, but somehow right now it's returning. Or you sell a house, a property that you thought it could never be sold, and you're going to get amazing return for that money as well. All right, guys, so that was actually what I wanted to tell you for all of you. And right now, as usually I going to do just a 5 minutes meditation. If you want to stay with me till the end, I always do a meditation for the lunation for you guys. You can put in the background some kind of rain or thunderstorm, or some soft music if you want to. And definitely the most important right now to just begin the meditation, to find a comfortable seat or lie down somewhere, all right? I'm going to give you a little time over here until you find a comfortable seat or you are lying down. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. Hold for 4. And exhale gently out of the mouth for 4. Again, inhale, breathe in clarity, hold, settle for a while. Exhale, release all doubts and fear. Feel the breath moving through you like a warm current, grounding, steady, ancient. You stand beneath an ancient oak. Its bark is silvered with age, its roots tangled deep into the earth's quiet heart. The branches above are sparkling, each leaf catching starlight as if the heavens themselves are whispering through the tree. The sky is soft lavender, sunset melting into twilight. As you step forward, you see the path illuminated by a gentle silver glow. It curves like a blessing through a meadow, wildflowers of every color swaying in the golden breeze. Ladybugs land softly on petals, bunnies hop peacefully through the tall grass, and the hum of the earth is alive with love. You walk barefoot, the earth holding you like a sacred vow. With each step you feel stronger, clearer, more you. In the distance there is a crystal lake, and floating upon it are luminaries, glowing orbs of light, like floating dreams, wishes, and intention cast into sacred waters. You gaze into the lake, and your reflection shifts. No longer just your face, but a powerful lioness or lion emerges. Eyes golden, heart wide, radiating courage. The guardian of your soul, the part of you that remembers. Now repeat these affirmations silently or aloud. I'm rooted in truth and guided by light. I'm not afraid to be seen, to rise, to speak. Courage lives in me, not loud, but steady. I honor my own timing, my own magic. I act with love, not fear. I no longer abandon myself. I remember who I am. I choose to begin again. Place your hands on your solar plexus right now, your seat of action and confidence. Inhale gold light into this space. Let it expand like the sun rising within you. Breathe in. Let it burn away doubt. Let it remind you that this life is yours to shape. As you begin to return, Bring a part of this meadow with you, a glowing flower, a flickering firefly, or simply the scent of wild jasmine in the wind. Know this place is always within you. The courage, the clarity, the light. Wiggle your fingers, touch your heart. When you are ready, open your eyes. You are back, but changed, more you than ever. Now go take a step. The lioness walk beside you. Thank you so much, guys, to being here during this solar eclipse with me, for your, subscribe, and please share that with your relatives, with your friends, whoever want to study astrology with me, whoever would benefit from my reading. I would really appreciate that. Every single comment is helping me with the algorithm. So please help me with that. Thank you so much again. Bye for more. Bye for now. See you soon.